Well, here it is sitting on the floor. My new Ridgid R4512 saw. And I've been thinking about buying this for a while now, maybe a couple of years. And the reason I haven't bought it yet and replaced my old cheap skill saw here, which is dangerous as hell, is because I just didn't have the room for it. But I have this little shop area set up now. And the reason I have this little bit extra space is because I got rid of a vehicle, and now I have this old truck here and a Suburban, and in this tandem garage, which is 34 feet long. I just don't have room for I think it's 37 feet of vehicle that they math out to be. So this is just a one-car garage at this point, based on the vehicles I have. And so I've got all this extra space, and so I decided that I would go ahead and buy a better table saw, because I'm really tired of that small one I have. And this is just what the parts look like. I unboxed them. The box was huge. I'll come back here and show it some more of the parts. But you can see this end of the garage is pretty dark. But it was 250 pound box in that saw. And so it was quite the thing to move around. The top is definitely the heaviest part, so I have to see if that base is good. But I definitely wanted the reason I got the 4512 is because it's got the wheels. You can cam them out, and it allows for the saw to be mobile. And so, because that's something I really need, is you can see the joiners on wheels, the workbenches are on wheels, and so everything in here is mobile. And if it's not, it's got to put wheels on it to make it to where I can use it in this little shop. All right, well, mostly doing this for my brother. He asked me to do it. And I'm not really going to record me putting it together, but I wanted to show what it looks like after you get it out of the box. Just the parts. About a minute later, I went to put on these tables, and they had provided these little Allen wrenches. These are pretty useless. Definitely recommend getting something like this. This is just a Pittsburgh brand Allen wrench, but get it on a long extension like this, because right underneath there, like that's a full 4 or 5 inches underneath there. You're not going to be able to get that Allen key wrench on there. So the only way to reach it is with the socket clear out here. So that's definitely something this side's not going to be a problem at all, because it's completely exposed. You can see the table just goes on right there. It's real easy to get to that, but that other side with the motor housing there, it makes it pretty difficult to get to. I guess you could get to it maybe through the bottom there. I don't. Yeah, just buy some tools. It's really cool. The fronts of these bags of bolts. You're hunting around, looking in directions and stuff like that. But here it shows exactly where what you're looking for is in the packaging, and it's not glued down like crazy. It's just stapled down. So that makes it a lot easier to just grab what you need and go for broke. Quick, another thing, the instructions say to assemble this base separate from the saw, like just setting on the floor or whatever. And I could just see that being a big problem. So I just decided to throw it up on the saw and put it, just temporarily put the bolts in that are supposed to attach it. And that actually helped me, because I wasn't really reading the instructions. Nobody does. And I noticed that the sides are a little bit narrower than the front and back, or I guess that's the vice versa. The sides are a little bit wider, the front and back are narrower. So just a little bit easier to assemble it like that on the saw. And then I'll put the dust collection piece in the bottom. I'll take it back off and put it back in. Things here I'm kind of unimpressed with. This piece right here, which actuates the wheels from the front there, or from the side, which I'll bring up in a second, it's supposed to have just the nut, or just the bolt and the nut on it, with no washers or anything. So I dug these 3 washers out, and I'll put one on the back side. This is a nylock nut, so I'll put one on the back side, one on the front side, and one in between the two pieces of metal there, so that this doesn't bind quite as hard. It's kind of silly. You can see over here how it's just the nut. Like, that's not a good design. And I don't know if they're assuming, I'll have to look at the instructions, see if they're assuming that you just leave this loose or something, but it just seems like a lot better idea to have some washers in there and just have these laying around. So, but the other thing I was going to talk about real quick is that you can see it in the instructions a little bit, but the foot pedal, I don't know if you can see, this is the side of the saw as to where this foot pedal is. Up here's the front. You can see right there, it's the front of the saw. And you can see over here on the box, the instructions show it on the side, but the box shows it on the front. You can see right there's the pedal, and this is the front of the saw. So I don't know. They changed their design somewhere during the run or something. So I don't know. Just gives credence to what AVE was saying the other day, that they modify and cheap out their saws as they produce them, or companies will cheap out on the tool itself as they produce it. So that's probably one of those things, because I was trying to shove these in the other direction and they definitely don't fit, because this is like a solid 2-3 inches shorter this direction. I was thinking maybe I had the sides on wrong or something like this, but they're all exactly the same. So they just changed the design of the saw between the pictures on the box and the pictures they drew in the manual there. So interesting thing there. Right here, you can see, if I can get the camera in the right spot, like this wheel has a lot of wiggle on it, and this bolt that's supposed to go through here has 0 washers provided with it, and this thing's supposed to pivot like this on that bolt right here. So I don't know what they were thinking with this whole assembly not having washers in it, but I guess they were just anticipating a lot of slop. I'm definitely going to put a washer on each side, and probably not on the outside. Maybe I got the nylock nut out here, so it doesn't matter. The washer's in here at a minimum, because when you bolt this, when you clamp this down, it's still going to be sloppy in there. So part is this thing fit those washers with no issues. Like there's one on each side. It's like they meant to have washers. They designed this plenty wide, so this action is way better now. I think it just has a lot nicer action. It's not slopping everywhere. I just don't understand why they didn't provide washers for these pieces. Alright, well, we'll see if this works. Mostly record it just to see if there's anything interesting that happens. But it says lift this with several people, and I can definitely understand why. There's a lot of strain on that bottom portion there if you're you just tip it up. And so what I've got is a ratchet strap attached to the ceiling from one of the mount points on my when I'm taking the canopy off my truck. And then I've got a 2x4 underneath here. I was thinking about sliding it underneath there pretty far and seeing if I can't wiggle it out there real quick. So, I don't know, you can see that's gonna be a struggle. Yeah, dog's even running away. We'll see. Maybe I'll get a second ratchet strap on it and see if I can't pick it up straighter. So I'll come back a little bit. Not exactly sure if this is going to work, but I'm definitely going to try it. But you can see, hopefully, that like there's barely any weight on the legs, because it's all being supported by the strap here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to inch these things up slowly. They're hooked to the same point on the ceiling. I'll just slowly lift the saw into the air with the ratchet straps here. Hopefully nothing catastrophic happens. much as possible. Now on this one, lower this down a little bit, get some more slack out of this one. I've got quite a bit more on this, so I feel like this one's more centered on the saw itself. Oopsies. This one is cracked up. It's die. You can see that thing's just kind of dangling there. So, no, see, that's just me lifting it. Still. God, this thing's flipping heavy. Release this. Slot. Alright, let's see what I can do now. That's not too bad. We'll get the stand on its own. Didn't really think that through, did I? Figure out a way to release that without it having issues. This thing doesn't fucking pop on me. Down on that one leg, pretty reasonably. Got a foot underneath it. Let's get this in there. Underneath there, just in case it decides to go down on us. Oops, that didn't work. This one. Pressure off. Almost there. Very close. Put a board underneath there. Lower it down. I don't know how much of the cameras can see, but put that underneath there. I don't have a lot of wriggle room on this one. There we go. No mishaps. Don't call OSHA. Let's go ahead and see that wheels in action. Very nice. That works. I'm not going to move it around too much because we got the cable over here just hanging on the floor. So that'll work nicely. Okay, here it is. This is the R4512 all assembled, and I don't know, first impressions are that it's a pretty good saw. It looks nice. I haven't made any cuts with it yet, but the throat plate is way cheap. I don't like how it's designed. It's just a piece of sheet metal. It's not thick like the ones you see on like Deltas or things like that. And then it was kind of crooked, so I had to like rebend it a little bit straighter, which is weird. And then having the offset adjustments here, it kind of has like a place right here where it's getting hung up. I'm not sure if that's going to work out all right. I don't know. It just seems really crappy. Maybe one of the zero clearance inserts that I found online will help with this. But those are like $30, so I'm not going to order that at this exact moment. I'm going to wait until I run the saw a little bit. The fence is really good. It slides really nicely. Looks like it's fallen out of adjustment again, which I don't understand. It keeps falling down. I guess something's not tight on here. You can hear it hitting. But then it also has these seams right here, which are causing it to hit as well. So it's kind of annoying in that fashion, but it slides pretty nicely outside of that. Real good action on this fence. Front and back locking, and then I've got right now I've got the blade replaced with a 7 1/4 inch blade instead of the 10-inch blade that it came with, which is a thing that I picked up from this really old guy on YouTube. His channel is called the Master Woodworker, and he recommends replacing your blades with 7 1/4 inch blades because they're cheaper and they have a smaller kerf and they're just easier on the saw. This big saw, I'm not too sure if that's going to make a big difference, but the thing that's disappointing in this blade, as opposed to my old saw with this same blade, is that it's only got a 2-inch cutting capacity on this saw, and I don't know if that's going to be enough for me. For sheet goods and crap like that, it'll work really well, but it doesn't seem like it's going to work out for this saw. I might have to put the 10-inch back on there. Let me lower this back down real quick. And if I fire this up, you can hear how quiet this saw is. It's not loud at all. You could practically leave the thing on and forget about it. Like it's so quiet. And then I don't know. It's very pleasing. The dust port at the bottom is a little hard to get to. I don't even know if we can see that from this angle. I got this thing on a little pod. But that's a tiny bit difficult to get to. So I found there was a bolt that was loose underneath there, so this slides correctly again. Adjust this up. Probably not going to be able to see very well from over there. We'll go ahead and knock that down. And that push sticks. What's up? Dust collector. Probably want to be able to get the saw over it. Yeah. You can barely hear the saw compared to it. Maybe it's time for a new blade. I don't know. I'll try it with that 10-inch blade or something, but let me get this up close. You see, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good surface on that. Not too bad. That stick that I cut off did fall down into the saw. I'm not used to not working with the zero clearance, so pull that out of the side. Probably went in my dust collection, huh? Well, I'll have to find it because it's not in there. That's frustrating. It does seem like it spit a lot of dust everywhere. So the dust collection is definitely not working very well right now. So let me find that stick and I think we'll call this good. Well, I found that stick down in the inside the ventilation tube, so I'm probably gonna have to get that zero clearance insert before I realize it. So I need to get that figured out. But overall, seems like it cut pretty well. So good saw. See how I feel about it after some time. I'll build the side table for it with the router, because I feel like this is just kind of flimsy hanging out here and needs some additional support. This table is a little bit warped in the middle, like up, and so it's cupped, and I think the piece of melamine covered particle board probably would be better to replace this with, and just make this whole section a new table for this. So well, there it is. Hopefully you found something good out of this.